Hey peeps, it is Kizo. Welcome back to Dead by Daylight videos. Thank you for Snow for sponsoring this video at the very silly peeps tier, more about Patreon benefits, and the status of Patreon later. If you're wondering, I've been gone a while because my kidneys exploded. And now I'm back to Dead by Daylight analysis, and there is a bunch of juicy things going on. But firstly, I need to address the latest 2v8 event iteration, and genuinely the unthinkable happened. Right after adding Legion, probably one of the most despised killers ever created for 2v8, they added Oni. The killer everyone thought now couldn't be added because we added Legion, obviously. Well, he has been added, and it's just as bad as you would think. Essentially, when you are actually a good stack, Oni and Legion together feel unstoppable. It is genuinely kind of insane. Now, I've not been playing DBD much, so I'm very rusty, etc. And the person I was playing with, we were playing literally across the entire world, West Coast to Europe, you know, bad ping, bad everything, very locked out. But still, it felt pretty effective. And from my Survivor match experience, it was absolutely miserable because you get all the stabs, the uncoordinatedness, and then the Oni kind of has, the moment they're good, no opportunities to actually fuck up and miss. Because the Oni in the Aurel Rose PDB got turbo buffed because his turn rate essentially became uncapped. And you can flick extremely well with him once you get slightly good at it. Now, I myself, I was very used to the old Oni flicks, so my muscle memory is completely fucked. I've been playing really badly. But people who just are getting into Oni on this new version are going to find it very easy, especially on PC. It is incredibly forgiving. You can hit survivors no matter the turns they're taking, unless we do two 90-degree turns, so they go behind two corners. There's nothing you can do to spin him unless he only actually fucks up and makes a mistake. It is incredible. And the power up then, yeah, it's essentially infinite because you just have everyone injured all the time. I don't understand what they were thinking of. Legion is currently like behaving almost like Nurse is for most of the slowdown person Dead by Daylight, where she occupies such an oppressive space that it's impossible to balance anything around her. But now it's here instead of Legion. With Legion, most pairings in 2v8 become extremely obnoxious. Oni is just such an egregious example because he is balanced inherently, but his power not being readily available at every opportunity, because without his power he's just a regular one killer, which means getting hits is harder. But because Legion is so good at keeping people injured forever, that means his power uptime can be nearly 100%. And that is really stupid and busted, and I don't understand what behavior are thinking. The only new addition for Survivors that somewhat tries to balance this out is just a reuse of the smoke bombs from the Halloween event. And while neat in concept, you can only get them from searching chests, and you're not even remotely guaranteed to get them. And besides that, Survivors got absolutely nothing in this 2v8 iteration, and the queues remain horrible. So, surely BHVR at this point are going to recognize playing Survivor feels absolutely terrible in 2v8. Nobody wants to play Survivor. Nobody. Not even all of this time. We've had 2v8 so many times now, and nobody still wants to play 2v8 Survivor. Well, BHVR in the next iteration are just going to make you play Survivor while you queue for killer. That is their solution. I mean, surely at this point we can just disregard the balance of the game mode completely, the fun of the game mode completely, and just make you queue for whatever role is needed, right? While you queue for the hour one. Hell, we can do that for the 1v4 mode as well. Why not? Just abandon balancing or trying to make the game mode work whatsoever. Let's just make you, while you're in queue for one role, play the other role that you dislike and people don't want to play. I mean, it seems good to me. It seems like a very logical game design solution. Oh, really? That's the only thing that's coming for Survivors, apparently. I don't understand how we don't have interesting classes. The only class that's interesting is still boring because your ability is go and resurrect pallets, which means on the pallet town on maps that are 2v8, you just get infinite pallets. And that's just stupid. I don't understand why BHVR have designed this game mode into a corner. I thought that 2v8 was going to be the game mode that BHVR would be very free with experimenting for, because it is a time-limited game mode that is very wacky, very differentiated from Dead by Daylight at its core, and instead, seemingly with every iteration, they make the parts that are bad about it even worse, and just are not interested in trying anything radical or interesting for the game. I don't know if this is time constraints or they're just unwilling to do anything interesting. They simply are failing to deliver a compelling experience for survivors, and it doesn't seem like they ever are going to at the rate they're going at. Now, I'm sure that the queue time experience might get better in the next 2v8 iteration, but honestly, personally, as someone who will be playing the next 2v8 iteration, of course, because, you know, I have to make videos on it, I have to experience it, to actually talk about it. I won't be playing Survivor with you. You know what I'll be doing? I'll be watching YouTube, I'll be making tea, I'll be literally doing anything else. I still don't want to play Survivor in 2v8 while I'm in queue. Unless it's going to prioritize my queue so my queue goes much faster, I'm not interested. But so far, it just sounds like you are essentially going to play Survivor, have the queue for Killer go in the background, then once your queue succeeds, your spot in the queue will be essentially reserved until your match of Survivor ends. And if that is the experience that we're going to get, which seemingly it's going to be from what BHVR has detailed so far, I am not going to be interested in playing that whatsoever. Oh yeah, they also added Ghostface to the iteration, and honestly, he is an incredibly divisive killer for me, because on one hand he can be extremely busted, not like Thompson House. You can stalk from the top of the house, you can keep like half the team exposed, the 10% movement speed while cloaked up in night shroud power. It is really powerful. 10% movement speed is nothing to scoff at, and it's really good. But then Ghostface can get revealed very easily by a lot of survivors, and it's such a weird spot where like it is not enjoyable to play as Ghostface very often, and it's not enjoyable to play against Ghostface in 2v. So like again, I don't know why they added Ghostface to 2v8. He just doesn't gel very well with the mechanics of 2v8, because you kind of rely on not being seen. It's impossible to not be seen in 2v8, and he kind of relies on him being the only dynamic in your chase versus him to make his power remotely interesting or balanced. But that is also gone in 2v8 because you have two killers. So I don't know, man. It's just, again, a design decision that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And somehow also, by the way, you know that softlock bug Wesker that people complain about? Still not fixed? Yep, Wesker and Nemesis both still available, and Wesker still completely bugged. Why is he not kill switch? Why is he not fixed? I don't know. But hey, they added a pretty animation for hooking survivors instead of reusing the anniversary animation. Although that apparently has added more bugs with cages and etc. So, you know, standard BHVR trade-offs. The 2v8 situation seems to rise to like massively get like worse and worse with each iteration, and I'm frankly confused why. It seemed to me that with the original 2v8 iterations, the intent was to experiment, to keep trying harder and harder to make a more compelling experience for everyone involved. But seemingly, we went away from that, and now 2v8 is like getting Dead by Daylight 1v4 tier of updates, but from like 2020. It's just minor iterative changes that are often bad and remain generally not a great time. And that is just depressing and sad, because I thought BHVR would finally have the goal and the freedom to develop a more compelling experience with 2v8 and be more creative and be more ambitious and radical in their game design choices. But instead, they're still playing it safe, they're still playing it very boring, and seemingly remain unable to create anything compelling. Tell me your thoughts on this iteration of TV8 as both Killer and Survivor, what you expect of the next one when they are going to make you play Survivor to queue for Killer, and yeah. Thank you all to my patrons, Snow and Sojus, for supporting me. I've still paused the donations charges for this month, but you know, there's a bunch of Patreon benefits like exclusive PTS content, block updates, special roles in the Discord channel, depending on the Patreon tier you subscribe at. If you're at the highest Patreon tier, you get shoutouts at the start of the video, but even regardless of what tier you are, you're always going to get also shoutouts at the end of videos like this one. And also, the exclusive design case study, this series, besides our potential exclusive Patreon content, is starting either this month or early next month. And US Patreons can always expect more and more stuff from me in the future now that I'm medicated on ADHD. And in general, expect more updates from me soon. Now that I'm unhampered by sickness or ADHD, FNAF like literally is about to blow up Dead by Daylight. I'm going to be covering that, of course. As always, I'm also going to be covering our games like Payday 3 and general like co-op experiences on my main channel, which is also going to get more regular videos. It's heating up. Summer is going to be really cool, and hope you all stay tuned. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one, peeps.
Well, would you look at that? A fun killer design. I'm sure BHVR would change it down the line. This is an update of the lowest percentile. Get anyone on the map, team. Tell me what the fuck is this tile? Once again, a change by us all unrequested. If this did not turn out how the dev note suggested, anyone involved in this design should be arrested. Here's the deep dive. I'm losing my shit! In what world is that a fucking it? Alright, no, that's it. I quit!